Hello, Dr. Sanchez and fellow graduate research students. Welcome to my Global Management Research Project. Today, we will be exploring the development of a global mobility program, focusing on how to equip, engage, and encourage today's 21st century global remote worker. My name is Reiner Bantau. I am pursuing my graduate degree in managerial science. This is a graduate research project for the summer 2017 course, Managing the Global Workforce, taught by Dr. Dion Sanchez at Amberton University. Let's take a look at an overview of this presentation. What will we be talking about? Today, we will explore the following: the digital age revolution, the changing dynamics of how people go to work, a company background exploring Appen, international country background exploring Australian cultural dynamics. We'll examine the benefits and challenges associated with a remote workforce. We will explore designing a global mobility program for remote workers. We'll provide a summary and conclusion, examine our methodology and literature review, and provide our references. To start with, let's take a look at the digital age revolution, the changing dynamics of how people go to work around the world in the 21st century. Changing needs, locations, and types of international assignments, combined with an increasing focus on cost reduction, are reshaping global mobility. According to Reuters, 1 in 5 global workers telecommutes frequently, and nearly 10% work from home every day. Observe any 21st century workplace and you will see vacant desks due to employees working remotely. Once seen as a trend only a few years ago, remote work is now commonplace in most businesses around the world. This presents organizations with new risks and challenges, as well as benefits and opportunities for the burgeoning global remote workforce. More than one-third of chief financial officers said the number of work from home and other remote working opportunities has increased in the last 3 years, while only 3% have seen a decline. 68% of CFOs at companies with more than 1,000 employees see remote work opportunities on the rise, double the percentage of CFOs at companies with 20 to 49 employees. As how, when, and where people choose to perform work changes, the global mobility industry and multinational enterprises must adapt to this new paradigm, reshaping how work is done globally. Remote workers allow organizations to contain costs by reducing the need to relocate skilled knowledge workers. Global mobility service providers and global human resources management must collaborate to ensure that companies and remote workers maximize the benefits of remote work while minimizing the risks that can stem from having a dispersed, independent labor force. Exploring Appen, a global leader in the development of high-quality, human-annotated datasets for machine learning and artificial intelligence. Based in Australia, Appen is a global leader in the development of high-quality human annotated datasets for machine learning and artificial intelligence. Appen brings over 20 years of experience enriching a wide variety of data types, including speech, text, image, and video. With deep expertise in more than 180 languages and access to a global workforce of over 400,000 skilled contractors, Appen partners with leading technology, automotive, and e-commerce companies, as well as governments worldwide, to help them develop, enhance, and use products that rely on natural languages and machine learning. Appen has been named by Forbes magazine as one of the top 100 companies offering flexible jobs in 2014, 2015, and 2016. Headquartered in Chatswood, New South Wales, a major Australian business centre near Sydney, Australia, Appen offers international remote work for exciting, flexible, short-term projects, as well as full-time corporate opportunities. Appen is a multinational enterprise with global offices in America, China, Great Britain, and the Philippines, in addition to the company's Australian headquarters. Appen was founded in Sydney in 1996 by linguist Dr. Julie von Willer, and she was later joined by her engineer husband, Chris von Willer. Motivated by their passion for language and technology, the von Willers saw an opportunity to develop linguistic technologies to support product innovation in new markets around the world. In 2011, Appen merged with the Butler Hill Group, based in Richfield, Connecticut, and Seattle, Washington, and founded by Lisa Braden Harder in 1993. Lisa was a member of the pioneering team in grammar checking technology at the IBM T.J. Watson Research Center before starting a linguistic consulting practice. After the merger, the combined business became Appen Butler Hill and expanded its scope to include language resources, search, and text. As the social web became an increasingly bigger part of people's lives, Appen looked to grow its combined services and capacity in global crowdsourcing and social media technology to empower people to connect and share across the internet. In 2013, Appen Butler Hill was rebranded to Appen. Appen's leadership team includes linguistics and technologists who have research and applied linguistics credentials, as well as real-world business experience in managing international programs and projects. Appen's leaders possess degrees and expertise in fields like computational linguistics, phonetics, phonology, terminology, lexicography, corpus collection, and linguistic testing, among others. Mark Brayan, the Chief Executive Officer at Appen, joined Appen in July 2015 as CEO and is responsible for the company's leadership, strategy, and culture. Mark has over 25 years' experience in technology and services. Chief Financial Officer Kevin Levine joined Appen in January 2015 as CFO, and he is responsible for the financial operations of the company. Kevin is a chartered accountant with more than 25 years' experience in executive operations and financial roles in listed and unlisted companies, with particular exposure to startup, high growth, and distressed companies in the services and technology sectors. Senior Vice President of Content Relevance, Tammy Garvis, has more than 20 years of management experience in both program and project management and human resources management, including writing and implementing HR processes, developing training programs, and building and deploying teams around the world. Senior Vice President of Language Resources, Phil Hall, heads Appen's Sydney-based Language Resources Division. Phil has a strong background in international business development and linguistics. Since joining Appen in 2001, he has been at the forefront of the company's evolution and growth at both a technical and an organizational level. Under Phil's leadership, the Language Resources Division delivers large programs of work with a focus on speech and language data to some of the world's leading commercial and government technology organizations. Johan Wickman currently serves as Appen's Chief Technology Officer, and Carrie Reynolds recently joined Appen as a Senior Vice President of HR and Crowdsourcing. Appen's vision is to empower every culture with language and search technology. Appen's mission is to bring together the best of human intelligence and technology to accelerate global technology solutions, bridging gaps between people and communities with their network of language and cultural specialists in over 180 languages, deep linguistic expertise, and strong project management. Appen's core values include a commitment to quality, a desire to approach every relationship with integrity, respecting everyone and every culture, embracing diversity, striving to be a team player, looking to be agile, being creative, communicating effectively and with positive intent, being accountable for actions and work, and taking good care of oneself in order to perform with excellence. Let's learn a little bit about Australian culture. The Commonwealth of Australia is a democratic federal state recognizing the British monarch as chief of state. But Australia operates independent from Britain and does not view itself as being a constitutional monarchy. Since World War II, Australia has become one of the world's most ethnic melting pots, with many residents born outside of Australia. Australia offers extensive social welfare programs to its citizens. Deeply involved in the United Nations, Australia is known for aiding its developing neighbors in Asia and the Pacific. Over 50 countries receive aid from Australia annually. Australians value honesty and directness. Less is more in Australian business. Australians consider modesty a virtue, and braggarts are fair game for ridicule or criticism. Cutting down the tall poppy is an Australian aphorism for keeping egos in check. Australians tend to be laconic and appreciate brevity. English is the primary language and is spoken by 95% of the population, although 235 living languages can be heard throughout the country on any given day. Due to their geographical isolation, Australians are very comfortable working with people they never meet. Australians adopt new technologies as soon as they become available. They employ email, conference calls, WebEx, and cell phones. In face-to-face meetings, Australians are highly approachable. Australians are creative, curious, and not averse to risks. They are independent and self-reliant. So how does a company like Appen maintain productivity, communication, and morale when staffers are scattered all over the globe? There are many benefits and challenges that come from depending on a remote workforce. The right tech tools and leadership tactics can connect spatially dispersed individuals into a cohesive, efficient team. Communication is vital. How does Appen ensure remote team members can communicate effectively and efficiently? Online communication tools like Skype, Google Hangouts, and others foster good communication. Freedom is one of the perks of working remotely. Keeping workers in different time zones in sync is critical for Appen. Appen keeps remote workers in sync by setting some minimal schedule expectations. It is important to get the right people on the bus. Appen has to find workers with the right mindset. It's critical Appen hires remote workers who are conscientious self-starters and reflect the corporate values and culture. It is also important to make remote workers feel part of the team. Appen can incorporate culture from a distance by having fun virtual team sessions and using technology to include remote workers in special office events. Among companies offering remote work arrangements, higher morale and retention are the primary benefits, according to 35% of those polled. Another 28% said the best aspect of this perk is increased productivity by eliminating commute time. While there are certainly benefits, maintaining a remote workforce comes with significant challenges. There is alienation due to isolation of remote workers from their colleagues and managers, increased exposure to employment practice liability, potential for increased accusations of discrimination due to unclear policies and procedures, lack of structured communication with work cohorts, concerns about productivity without the presence of supervision, and the lack of overall employee management. Having discussed some benefits and challenges associated with maintaining a remote workforce, let's take a look at designing a global mobility program for Appen's remote workers. Traditionally, a global mobility program is an intentional plan designed for individuals working in a foreign country for a specific period of time. The purpose of a traditional global mobility program includes subsidiary startup and management, acquisition, international experience, knowledge transfer, sales, marketing, and negotiations. There are several elements that make up a traditional global mobility program. They include defining the goal of the global initiative, ensuring strategic alignment, determining the type of international assignment, developing a relocation package, identifying the foreign culture adjustment, planning for repatriation, and identifying retention and career path. In designing a less traditional global mobility program for remote workers, the need to determine the type of international assignment, developing a relocation package, dealing with the adjustments to a foreign culture, and planning for repatriation all become unnecessary, therefore simplifying how work is performed while containing costs. A successful global mobility program for Appen's remote workers should encompass the following: clear policies and procedures that govern how remote workers interact with company employees and adhere to traditional company standards of operation in order to reduce risk and liability on behalf of either the company or the remote worker. Intentional activities should be geared to include remote workers so that they feel like they are part of the bigger organization. Including remote workers in holiday functions and other company celebrations is critical. Establishing regular weekly modes of communication between the organization and the remote worker to address issues, mitigate concerns, build trust, and foster healthy working relationships. Good communication assuages crisis before they catch fire. Finally, leveling the playing field through employing uniform global company standards for compensation and benefits to ensure everyone receives a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. As a growing segment of the global workforce and as a burgeoning solution for multinational enterprises similar to Appen seeking to reduce and contain costs, remote workers present many opportunities and challenges. Properly addressed through more intentional planning by multinational organizations like Appen and their global cohorts, and further study and research done by managerial scientists, remote workers can change work as the world knows it. There are numerous ramifications to consider when employing a large global workforce of remote workers touching on every function of the business, from legalities and risk to inclusiveness and holiday celebrations. Employing an extraordinarily large remote workforce, Appen can pioneer how companies treat their remote workers and help legitimize the role remote workers play in global organizations. Let's take a moment and examine our methodology and assess our literature review. This graduate research student employed the following tactics to develop this graduate research project's methodology: peer-reviewed academic papers and other reputable industry-related articles, written textbooks including the required text for this course, conducting interviews with global mobility professionals, and collecting data from personal experience gained through remote work as a destination services consultant. Through an expansive and extensive literature review, this graduate research student discovered that there was extensive research available on Australian business and culture, global organization and companies, telecommuting, and remote work. There was moderate research available on Appen, the organization, global mobility programs designed specifically for remote workers, remote worker risks and benefits, and minimal research available for Appen's mobility programs, legal issues and outcomes of remote worker disputes, and rights of remote workers. Thank you, Dr. Sanchez and fellow classmates, for giving this graduate research student your time today in viewing this graduate research project focused on designing a global mobility program for remote workers.